All right, well, welcome back from spring break. Did you have a nice spring break? Did you do something special? Nothing? Okay. I didn't either. So, didn't even out to Mexico, right? Mexico's going to be kind of a dangerous place. You got to be kind of careful, especially on spring break, there. Okay, so let's see where we are. Go to our agenda and find today's date, which is 3/20 right here. So this is the 9th week of class. And what are we going to do this week? Well, I'm going to talk about telecommunications, CO5 in your textbook, CO5 in your PowerPoint notes, and I'm going to talk about privacy. Okay. CO5, a content lecture, and privacy and the issues lecture. This week, there's no handouts going out. There's no quizzes. Okay, so it's a pretty easy week. I handed out assignment 3 last week, and that, of course, was the assignment on PowerPoint presentations. Okay, or presentation, and so you should be working on that already. It's not due until next week, at the end of the week, but then the week after it's due, we'll have some PowerPoint presentations. Now let me explain to you how PowerPoint presentations work in this class. I call on students at my discretion, okay, to give PowerPoint, to actually make a presentation on those slides. And if you get called on, you actually have to have your PowerPoint presentation available. Okay, that means you need to bring it in. Okay, since you don't know who's going to be called on, you got to bring it in and on a thumb drive, or have a availability to get it real fast. And basically use my computer up here, to make the presentation. But you can, if you have your own laptop, you can bring that up, and it's easy to just hook this into your laptop. If you have a Mac, that's okay, but you have to have the little adapter for the little video adapter for the Mac. Okay, and then you give your presentations. These presentations are only be 5 minutes long, and if you get called on, then that will count as some extra credit. Okay. Yeah. There'll be the week after, starting the week of April the 3rd. Yes.
But on Blackboard, they said that it's due on the 24th. So this Saturday. Are you going to change that then?
Well, here this says A3 is A3 is due.
But on Blackboard, you have it on the 24th.
I do?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's due this weekend. Good. Well, all right.
Can we go with that one instead? Yeah.
3. So next week, starting next week, okay, I will have PowerPoint presentations. Yes. No, not the class presentations. You cannot volunteer. I'm calling them because these are people I want to hear.
So that means not everyone will be there?
That's right. Now, if you wish to get extra credit, then you can volunteer to come to my office, okay, during my office hours, okay, and make a presentation. Or you may volunteer to make a presentation to the greater. And usually there's not everybody volunteers, and so between the ones that I select and the ones that volunteer, we hope to hear everyone that would like to be heard, okay, for extra credit. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you go over a little more assignment grading, how you want to document?
Okay. No, that's a good idea. Okay, so A3 then is going to be due this coming Saturday, right? Saturday night at midnight. Okay? Oh, I know why. I know why there was that difference. It's because I normally give 3 weeks for assignments in this class, and we had spring break last week, and that's the reason I made it on the 24th, because it was 3 weeks. I don't know if we should do that or not. I don't really like to make you work during spring break. How many would like to keep it on the 24th? Okay, and then we'll go back and we'll change it to the whatever it is, the 3rd, right?
It was the 27th. The week of the 27th.
No, we'll keep it that way, okay? So A3 is due, and then E3.
Thank you.
Okay, so I will change this on Blackboard. Okay, so instead of March 24th, This will be, we have to add 7 to that. This will be March 31st then, right? Okay, so redo your assignment 1, Word documents as PowerPoint presentations. And you don't have to use PowerPoint, you can use OpenOffice, Impress. Impress is that part of OpenOffice, which is like PowerPoint. Or you can do it in Google Docs if you prefer. So you can also do it on your Mac. PowerPoint's available on the Macs, okay, and these other things are too. Make only 5 or 6 slides, so you're asking what am I looking for, okay? 5 or 6 slides, okay, for a 5-minute presentation. So you should select enough material so that it makes a good 5-minute presentation. You'll be marked off if you're rushing too fast, you're speaking too fast in order to finish the material. That means you did not select the proper amount of material for a 5-minute presentation. Or if you finish after 2 minutes, okay, you'll get marked off for that because, again, you didn't select, the correct amount of material for the PowerPoint presentation of 5 minutes. Have a good graphics selected from pictures, charts, timeline, artwork, okay. Keep text to a minimum. So if you have slides that have just lots and lots of words on them, audience has a hard time reading lots of words on a slide, okay? So keep the text to a minimum. This is really an exercise in, do you know how to know what major points are? Do you know how to get to really the bottom line of major points? Or are you a person that gets lost in details? Do you see no difference if you're presenting a lot of little detail things that are sort of immaterial? That's not good, right? And the slides should look nice, okay? Now, last time I pointed about animation, okay? So if you really want to get a really top grade in this, in extra points, you should do some animation, okay? And what did I do in the way of animation last time? Okay, so I had this. Actually, I was going to make a presentation on Microsoft, and in Microsoft I had selected Paul Allen as the subject of this presentation. And so I was going to do an animation here, okay, on Paul Allen. And so I was going to have a timeline here. And this timeline started in 1975, okay, when Microsoft was founded, okay, and comes up basically to the present day. And I was going to have these main points here. Microsoft was founded, okay. Then Microsoft goes public, okay. Then Paul Allen leaves Microsoft, okay. And then the value of Microsoft is greater than $600 billion, okay. And so I was going to actually have this animated so that what the person sees to start with is just the timeline. And then I'll then click the mouse, and the person will then suddenly see, it'll come down here and it will say Microsoft founded. And then this picture up here will appear at the same time that Microsoft founded comes up, okay? So here's a picture of Paul Allen along with Bill Gates back in 1975. Right? Then I'm going to click the mouse again, and then the timeline basically is going to move over here, and basically Microsoft goes public is going to suddenly appear. And the Microsoft founded is still going to be there. But this picture here is going to disappear, and this picture here is going to appear. So Paul Allen is going to change from this picture here, okay, as he looked in 1975, over here to the way he looked, you know, in around 1990 or 1995, okay. And what's going to happen is, in fact, this picture is going to scoot over to this point, okay, and then dissolve out, okay, fade out, and this other picture is going to come in. Okay. And then when we click, so Microsoft goes public is going to be here, okay, and then Paul Allen leaves Microsoft, okay, and then finally over here the picture will change to this over here. So in order to make an animation, what you have to do is, first of all, you had to just put all of this stuff up on a single slide, okay. And now we go in and then we make selections about when this is going to appear, okay. So the first thing you have to do here is draw a timeline, okay. So you put in you know, these you know, arrows, okay, and then you put in these text boxes, okay, for 1975, 85, 95, and then you put in these other text boxes. See, that's a text box there. Microsoft was founded, okay. This is a text. These are all text boxes. These are 4 separate text boxes, okay. All this is just one long text box. Okay. And then this graph is a long line, okay, and then a bunch of little hash marks, okay. So you have to go through and do all of that, okay. Then you have to go and find these pictures off of the internet, okay. And then basically you have to insert these pictures from the internet, and that means sizing them appropriately. When you bring them in from the internet and put them in your PowerPoint, you know, they normally not going to be the right size, but you know, you can make these pictures bigger or larger just by, you know, going to the corners, you know, and you can pick a, you know, you try to set them to the size you want them. Okay? Anyway, so after you got all the material, now we can try to animate, okay? So then we come over here to this tab that says animations, okay? And so we click on animation, okay? And so there's some special animations up here. But there's something down here called a custom animation, okay? And what I'd like for you to learn is, I'd like you to learn how to do a custom animation. That is, if you really want to get, you know, a really good grade, you know, on this. So you click on custom animation. Okay. So custom animation then causes this window here, this little extra window to appear called custom animation. And so you select an element of the slide, okay, then click add effect to add the animation. Okay. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on this. Okay. That's an element of the slide. Okay. And then I'm going to add an effect for this animation. I mean, for this element. Okay. And it can be the entrance of that. That is, we can make that element fly in from the side. Okay. Or we can emphasize it somehow. Okay. Or we can exit, or we can have it do a motion path. Okay. So I'm going to click that again, and in effect, okay, and its entrance, okay. So let's see. Blinds means it'll come up as a blind. B just comes up as a box. It comes up as a checkerboard. It comes up as a diamond. Okay. There's some more effects down here. Okay. It just appears. Okay. So actually, all I want is I just want it to appear. Okay. So that's okay. So now this then comes up and it shows the mouse, and what that's saying is when you first bring this slide up, okay, this Microsoft Founded is not going to be there. Okay, it's going to be missing, and it won't occur until you have a separate click of the mouse. That is, the first click of the mouse will bring the slide up, okay, but it'll be missing Microsoft Founded. Okay, and then the next click of the mouse will simply bring up Microsoft Founded. Okay. Okay. Then I'm going to click on this element up here. Okay. I'm going to add an effect for it. Entrance. Okay. More effects. I'm just going to have it appear also. Okay. Okay. Now, so you're going to have to click the mouse to get Microsoft Founded to show up, and you're going to have to click the mouse to get this picture up here. There's 2 clicks of the mouse. Well, I really don't want that. Okay, I'd really like just 1 click of the mouse to get both of these up. Okay, so I'm going to go down here to on click. Okay, and I'm going to say with previous. Okay. Okay. So when I click the mouse, okay, this text box here will occur, and then this picture will occur at the same time. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go. Microsoft goes public. Okay. Add an effect. Okay. Just make it appear. Okay. So it's not going to appear. So on the first click of the mouse, this and this will appear. On the next click of the mouse, this down here will appear. Okay. Then I'm going to go over here. Okay. Add effect. It's going to appear. Okay. And then I'm going to click on this. Okay. Add effect. It's going to appear, okay, but with the previous. Okay, so this picture over here is going to appear with this text box here. Then this text box is going to appear by itself, and then this and this will appear together on the third click. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to click on that. Add effect, entrance, appear. Okay. We'll click on that. Add effect, entrance, appear, and change that to not on a click, but with the previous thing. Okay, now, so far this is my animation. Okay. Now I can actually play the animation. Okay. So let me click on play. Okay. And so it shows here, I got a 1 here and a 1 here, okay, and a 2 here, a 3 here, a 3 here, a 4 here, and a 4 here. A little slideshow. Okay. So when I first bring up the slide, all that's going to be there is the timeline. Okay. So now I'm going to click. Okay. See, Microsoft found it. Okay, and so that shows a picture of Paul Allen in the year 1975. Okay? I'm going to click again. Now Microsoft goes public, 1985. Okay. And then Paul Allen leaves Microsoft. Okay. And then the value of Microsoft. And here's Paul Allen here. So that's so that's my animation. Okay. But I can actually improve this animation. Okay. What I would like is when this comes up, okay, it'll be there. Then Microsoft goes public. I would like for them to this picture to move over right here again to the middle. And then on this click here, I would like for this to move all the way over to here. And then I would like this to go away and this to come up. Okay. So let me see if I can do that. Okay. So on the first click, I'm right here. And so this comes up. Okay. Now I'm going to click on this again. Okay. And I'm going to add an effect. Okay. Motion path. Okay. This is going to be it's a custom path. Okay. And this custom path is just going to be a line. Okay. So I'm going to move this from here over to here. Okay. Now I want that to happen, so when on this first click, okay, I want the text box and this first picture to appear. Okay. On the second click, I want this text box to appear, and then I want this picture to move over. Okay. So reorder. Okay. So I'm selecting this one here, and so I make it go up one, I make it go up one, make it go up one, make it go up one. Okay, and so now this is when Microsoft goes public. Okay. And I want it to scoot over with the previous. Okay. All right. Let me try that. Okay. So first click, Microsoft has found it. Okay. and we see picture, okay? Second click, Microsoft goes public, the picture moves over, okay? On the third click, okay, Paul Allen comes in. Now on that third click, that's good, except I would like this picture to now disappear. Okay? So I'm going to click on this picture again. Okay. And I'm going to add another effect again. And it's going to be an exit effect again. And it can exit as blind, as a box, as checkerboard, to fly out, crawl out, and just disappear. Okay. I want to just let's say dissolve out. Okay, have to make it dissolve out. Okay. All right. Now on the third click is when I want this picture to dissolve out. Okay. So I got to reorder it. Okay. Move it up. Move it up. Okay. So on the third click, okay, this text box here comes up. I'm going to make it go up one more. 18. So the text box is going to come up, okay. Paul Allen leaves Microsoft, okay. Then, with the previous one, okay, picture 18 is going to dissolve, okay. And then picture 19 is going to come up, okay. Let's try that. The first click, okay. Second click. Third click, okay. And fourth click. On the fourth click, I want this now to disappear, okay. Well, so I think you get the idea, okay. Now, it's not absolutely mandatory that you do an animation, okay. But, you know, to get a really, I mean, all these presentations will just be extra credit, okay? And so here's how extra credit works. You know, I figure all the grades, at the end of the class, I figure all the grades without any extra credit. And then that sets, you know, the grades for the class, you know. Then I go in and add the extra credit, okay? And that bumps up the grades of those that have extra credit, you know, however much extra credit I decide to give them, okay? And so this extra credit, how much would it be worth? Well, you know, if I give you 10 points extra credit on an assignment, you realize that's just one point extra credit for the whole class, right? Because the assignments are worth 100 points each, okay? There's 1,000 points in the credit in the class altogether. So if I give you 10 points extra credit, that's just 1 point on your semester grade. It's not a whole lot, right? You know, so it means I have to give you on extra credit, you know, 20 points, you know, extra credit, or 30 points extra credit if it's really, really good, okay? You know, something like that. But I wouldn't do that unless you have a really good animation, you know. So work on your animation there, okay? That does make your presentations more interesting, by the way. To do these animations. I had done another animation. It was similar. It was just that I had done it separately. Okay. So here, I picked this picture of Paul Allen, not with Bill Gates, but just by himself. So this is the way Paul Allen looked in 1975, at the time Microsoft was founded. And I click this, and then he goes over, okay, and then he disappears, and now he appears like this, okay, and now he goes over, and he disappears and becomes this guy, okay. So I mean, there's different ways to do it, you know. It's just kind of up to you. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. Then let me start talking about telecommunications. So, telecommunications. You know, it used to be, we thought of computers as sort of one thing, one technology, and then we thought of communications as another technology, right? But I think I've talked about the Multics project before, you know, that started I guess, combination of combining computer technology and communications technology. Okay. So they've long been combined, okay, and now we have telecommunications. The electronic transmission and reception of signals for voice and data communications. So I want to talk about the infrastructure. I'm talking about cellular networks. Wireless data communications and computer networks. What do you know about these things already? What do you know about wireless communications? Well, you've heard some things, I guess. You've heard the term Wi-Fi, right? What is Wi-Fi? What is that? What does it do? What? Yeah. I guess you've heard of Bluetooth? You must know that Wi-Fi refers to wireless data communications, right? Bluetooth also refers to wireless data communications. How many of you have something for your phone you put in your ear, you know? You can hear your phone, you know, when you're supposed to be handless, okay, communication. What's the difference in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth? Excuse me a little louder.
Bluetooth like connects two devices to each other. And I think Wi-Fi is for
She's saying Bluetooth is a device-to-device connector, and Wi-Fi is anything connector. Not quite right. Actually, the only difference between Bluetooth and Wi-Fi is a matter of scale. Wi-Fi is set up to connect anything, like you said, but up to about 250 feet. Okay, and so what you have is with Wi-Fi, you have some sort of device that will recognize radio signals. Okay, within about 250 feet. And it not only recognizes radio signals, but it recognizes radio signals in a certain range of frequencies, okay? So if you have a computer, say a laptop, sitting within these 250 feet, that laptop can be made to produce these radio frequencies, okay? And so then your computer then basically can connect to the internet using those radio frequencies, you know. So your little laptop, you know, becomes a radio basically, okay? Except instead of it becomes a radio transmitter, a transmission device for transmitting radio waves, okay? Your radio that you have is a radio receiver. It receives radio waves, but the computer becomes a transmitter. But then it transmits radio waves at a certain frequency you can't hear, okay? Bluetooth is the same thing, except different frequencies and on a much smaller scale. Bluetooth acts on a matter of 2 or 3 feet, okay? Whereas Wi-Fi works on a matter of, 200 feet. So telecommunications infrastructure. And telecommunications infrastructure refers to the hardware, the software, and the protocols. Infrastructure is hardware, software, and protocols that support telecommunications. So here we're going to talk about telecommunications signals, telecommunications media. We're going to talk about the radio spectrum, telecommunications devices, and software. So there's basically 2 different types of signals in telecommunications. We've already seen these. These are analog signals, okay, and digital signals, okay. What's the difference in analog signal and digital signal? Well, analog signals, vary, continuously. Digital signals, are, on and off. I mean, they're very discontinuous, sort of, Broadband media are those advertised by internet service providers as high speed. In everyday use, the term broadband and high-speed internet refer to a connection that's always on, such as cable, okay, or DSL, okay. So if you get your, if you do get, fast internet connection, you either get it normally through your cable company or through your telephone company. And if you get it through your telephone company, it's called DSL, okay. It's a digital subscribers line or a direct subscribers line. And so the media that carry these signals can be a twisted pair, okay. Here's an example of twisted pairs over here. Okay. A coaxial cable, okay. Here's a coaxial cable. Okay. Usually when we talk about cable TV, it normally comes on a coaxial cable. A coaxial cable is just like a twisted pair, except instead of having 2 wires, it's got that are like this. It has one wire which is at the center of the cable, and then that's got an insulation around it. And then on the outside, there's actually another mesh wire. Okay. And this mesh wire, basically, you sort of twist it. You cut it, you twist it, so you actually have it's just a twisted pair. Okay? And then fiber optics cable, which is I guess the latest and greatest thing in telecommunications. Okay. Instead of sending electrical signals, it sends light signals. Okay. Fiber optics is sort of the preferred thing because you can have so many different fiber optic cables. It's easy to put together little packages of these things that have just many individual fiber optic connectors. So here is the radio spectrum. Part of the electromagnetic spectrum, okay, refers to all of the frequencies available for radio waves from about 10 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz for their assigned values. Well, here is the full electromagnetic spectrum. Okay? And we know now that the universe is full of these, types of energy, okay, that are called waves, okay, or electromagnetic waves. We are probably most familiar with our sun, and we know the sun is producing electromagnetic waves because we go out in the sun, we can see the sun, we can feel the sun, okay? And what we're seeing, and what we're feeling is our body's ability to detect electromagnetic radiation. Now, our bodies cannot detect all electromagnetic radiation, but it can detect some. Our eyes can detect a certain parts. That is, there are certain frequencies that our eyes can actually detect, and this is right in the middle of the electromagnetic spectrum right here, called visible light. Okay? Our eyes can see this, okay. Then our skin, okay, can detect other parts, okay, like heat, okay, from the infrared part of the spectrum. Okay? So the waves that are really very long, that is, the spectrum is over here. These are really long waves. That is, between the peaks of the wave, the difference between peaks is miles. Okay? So here's one peak to the wave, and it comes down a mile away is another peak, okay? And these are very long waves, okay? And then as you come over to this other part over here, these are the very short waves, and they're really short, like we're talking about microwaves. So the parts of the electromagnetic spectrum down here, it has radio waves, okay? These are the longest waves. Microwaves, infrared waves, visible light, okay, ultraviolet light, okay, X-rays and gamma rays, okay. Now, depending on the frequency of these waves can bounce off of things or go through them. So, for instance, visible light, if visible light hits your body, that visible light does not go through your body. Your body will actually block that visible light. Right? But if it's an X-ray, it'll actually go right through your body, okay? Except for your bones, and the bones block it. Okay? If it's a gamma wave, it will go through everything. And your body is nothing to a gamma wave. Okay? So part of this is the radio spectrum. The radio spectrum is part of this electromagnetic spectrum. And what has happened in technology is we've taken these radio waves, okay, and we've divided the part of the spectrum that's called the radio spectrum into parts, okay. And I probably can't see that. Okay. This is a poorly designed slide because that you can't really see that, and it doesn't have a facility to. Maybe if you click here, no, I can't do that because so down here, okay, these are the well, I can't even. I'll have to find a better thing for that, okay, or I'll have to take that and blow it up maybe. So anyway, we've got all these devices on a telecommunications network, okay, and I've been through most of those, okay, hubs, okay, switches, repeaters, okay, bridges, gateways, routers, okay. We've already talked about all these things, okay. We haven't talked about the wireless access point, but I mean, like if you have a home. If you have a home wireless network, you may have a box in there that looks like this, okay? And here are the antennas, okay? So, and this box right here has to be hooked up wirelessly to the internet. So you have to have an Ethernet cable, okay, for this box here, okay? So now this box is on the internet, okay? And then it receives, okay, it's set up to receive radio frequency signals from the other parts of your house. So you can have a laptop in your house, or you can have several laptops or computers and other things that can basically broadcast radio waves that this thing can detect. Telecommunications software is software based on telecommunication protocols used to control, monitor, and troubleshoot data traveling over a telecommunications network. Okay, so now a cellular network is a radio network, okay, in which a geographic area is divided into cells. So the way a cellular network works is like this, okay. So let's say we have the city of Houston, you know, and so we've got here is highway I-10, you know, and coming down this way is I-45. And we got a 610 loop here. And then we have got highway 59. And so a company can set up a cellular network here. And what they do is they have to put computers like the one you just saw with the antennas, okay. I mean, they had to put computers that are on the internet, okay, and that well, actually they don't have to be on the internet, they had to be on that company's network, okay. But anyway, they had to put they had to divide this city up into cells, okay. So here's a cell here, here's another cell, another cell, another cell. So these cells, okay. And in each cell, they'll have a computer, and this computer basically picks up radio signals in a certain frequency range, okay? And so if you have a cell phone, and your cell phone is within this cell, and you turn your cell phone on, the minute you turn your cell phone on, your cell phone starts broadcasting a radio signal. And then this computer here in this cell that's responsible for that cell will detect this signal, okay? The computer will then say, okay, I'm now receiving a signal from some telephone, okay, that I hadn't received before. So who is this, okay? Who is this person, okay? And understand that person may be somebody that just flew in from Alaska, right? This guy just flew in from Alaska, right? Rented a car, okay? He's driving around Houston, he turns on his cell phone, right? So the owner of this cell phone may not be anybody that this guy locally knows anything about, right? And so, of course, the computer has a code, okay? The cell phone, okay, has a unique code, okay? And so this computer here knows the device number of this computer. So it basically then has to check, okay, to see, who this person is, okay? So this cell here has to contact other cells. It has to go back to some local, computer that has a lot more information than it does, okay? And it basically can get an ID on this person. And then it'll verify that this is a valid customer. And this guy's pay his cell phone bill's been paid up to date, right? So he's still allowed to, to get on and all this. And so this takes just a short amount of time. Now, my wife is just way too impatient about cell phones. She expects anything electronic just to be instantaneous, okay? She expects to turn on that cell phone, and then she expects immediately, to be online. And the fact that it sometimes takes a little bit of just not real long, okay, but it may be a few seconds, okay, before that thing works, and then just bothers her, she's very, very impatient. We got to realize it's not that easy a deal, There's millions of these phones, okay, now, and billions, I guess, and so it's just got to verify that it does take a little bit of computer programming, okay, and communication to do that. This may be a smartphone, and so what's a smartphone? Well, it's a cell phone, that has other capabilities besides just a telephone. And so it may have a GPS in it. What's a GPS? The global positioning system, okay? And if you have one of these smartphones, okay, it'll have an app in it, okay? And this app will basically allow you to navigate around, okay? So if you bring up on your smartphone, if you bring up this GPS app, a map should come up, okay? Pretty much where you are, okay? Now, the way these apps work is you first of all bring up this GPS app. The map that will come up will usually be the last map that it was showing, okay? It's got a memory of what its last map was, and if this guy was from Alaska, and he's flown to Houston, and then just turned on his phone. Maybe he's trying to find a certain location in Houston, okay? Well, when he brings up this GPS map app, it'll probably have a map of someplace in Alaska, okay? Where he last used it, okay? So then he has to punch a button, okay, which says, you know, locate me please, okay. So there'll be some button somewhere, you know, which says, you know, update my location. So click on that, and then how does that work? Well, the way that works is, as soon as you press that little button, you send a signal to this local cell. You're in some cell, and so probably the telephone, I mean, so the computer that's running that cell is probably on a little tower somewhere. Okay? So signal goes out to this tower, okay? And this tower knows it's responsible for the following cell, okay? And it'll have a map available for that cell. And so you'll suddenly get a map of the cell you're in. And so let's say this is I-10. And let's say your car is having to be driving down I-10. You know. And so you'll get this, but then you'll get a huge circle like this. And it says you are inside this huge circle. Okay? Well, this huge circle is the cell. Okay, that's the cell that you're in. Okay, and that's all that the cellular network knows at that point is you're in that cell, because your cell phone has connected, you know, to the computer in charge of that cell. That information is then forwarded. That is you'll actually also be sending your information about where you are, and that information will also go up to the cell. You know, that then is broadcast out to some satellites. And the satellites that it's broadcast to depends on the cell and the time of day and so forth. Okay. But the information will go to, say, 3 satellites, and it'll say, here's a person who's at a certain latitude and longitude, okay? And I need to locate that latitude and longitude on this map more precisely. And so these satellites will basically, each of these 3 satellites will actually contact your car. There'll actually be some communication between them. Your car picking up your data, okay, and this is called triangulation. And then they will pinpoint your car much more accurately. And then when they do, this big circle will go away, and then they'll just have a little circle around your car, okay. And then that means then that the satellites have located your car. So cellular network, okay? A cellular network is a radio network in which a geographic area is divided into cells, okay? With a transceiver antenna, a tower, and a station at the center of each cell to support wireless mobile communications. So by now, everybody here is familiar with a cellular carrier, okay? Cellular plans, okay? Cellular services, okay? What's a cellular plan? That's how much you're paying for your cell phone, right? And if it says, oh, this is a really good plan, your plan is $39.95 a month, okay? What's your bill going to be? You get a new cell phone, right? New service. It says $39.95 a month. When you get your bill through the mail, how much is it going to be? It's not going to be $39.95. I can tell you that, right? How much is your bill going to be? It's going to be $70, $80, okay? Why is that going to be? Why is it that they sell you these things and say it's going to be $39.95 a month, and when you get it, it's not $39.95 a month. It's a lot more. Why? Well, they had a whole bunch of taxes for one thing, okay? And then also, you may have gone over your hours, right? Or you may have done some long distance calling, okay? That was beyond what the plan allows, okay? And other things. Be very, very careful about going to abroad with one of these phones, okay? If you activate, worldwide service, you had to be very careful about that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So here's some of the cellular carriers, okay? Here's AT&T right here, okay? Sprint, okay? Verizon, okay, these are the most popular ones, okay? A cellular carrier is a company that builds and maintains a cellular network and provides cell phone services to the public. Okay? Now there's two main systems for this. One of them is called GSM, okay? And one of them is called CDMA. Now, you may not actually care whether the carrier is GSM or CDMA, okay? Unless you do go abroad, okay? So, for instance, AT&T is GSM, and Verizon is CDMA. Okay? So, the Global Systems for Mobile Communications, GSM, is the most popular international standard for mobile phones. The Code Division Multiple Access and Networking Standard is predominantly used in the United States, where it is in equal competition with GSM. Okay? So, again, this is not going to matter to you very much until you go abroad, okay? But if you go abroad and want to activate your phone in a foreign country, it's much easier to do if your carrier has GSM than it is if your carrier has CDMA. So Verizon is much harder to, and actually technically more complicated than AT&T if you go international. But even so, when you go international, each individual country can have its own setup, and they charge you rather heavily, okay, for doing texting, okay, and doing email. If your email has a lot of pictures and stuff on it, in fact, internationally, it's probably good. When you go internationally, you can actually cut off pictures and things that require a lot of data, because it's easy to go to take one of these cell phones abroad and run up a bill of several $100 and nothing flat. Okay? And that's just from your email if it has a lot of pictures and things in it. My suggestion to you is if you're going to go abroad and if you're going to try to use your cell phone abroad, go talk to your carrier first and find out how to, do this in a simple way. Cellular plans is what I'm talking about, $69.99. Okay. If two plans from different carriers seem roughly comparable in terms of features, you should view the coverage map of both carriers and examine their handsets and services. So the coverage is, how big their network is, how many sales do they have, in the area you're interested in. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. I'm out of time, and I'll continue to work on this on Thursday. Okay, any questions? Okay, thank you very much.